Alrighty, thanks a lot. So my name is Kevin Pritchard. I've been helping out people with various AP automation problems for about 13 years now. So I've encountered a whole lot of situations that I know give people troubles, and I thought it would be good to spend some time and talk about these and talk about how essec can help out with these a bit. So, what is essec? We are an accounts payable platform that exists on the cloud. We connect into Dynamics GP and Business Central, which basically allows us to sort of extend the data that you have there and present it to people in unique and hopefully a more simple way that will allow people to do their tasks really anytime, anywhere. And I'll kind of dive into that. But basically, web-based platform that should help you out with some of these issues that you're having. So what are the things that accountants hate? They're always upset that they're perpetually overworked. It feels like it's always month end. I talk to people all the time about that. We'll talk about how we can help on that front. A lack of visibility into what is actually happening in the AP department is another huge complaint that I hear all the time when I'm talking to AP people specifically. Everybody's trying to grow. Everybody's trying to build their business up. The problem is, while you're building your business, that means more paper, that means more things to enter, that means more data to deal with. And that's something that also stresses out the accountants of the world. And of course, we wouldn't be talking about level of stress in accounting world if we weren't going to talk about audit a bit. So essec was really built with all these sorts of things in mind to help you sort of head these problems off and actually make improvements to them. And really, our goal is always to just make your life a little bit easier, a little bit more controlled, and a little bit better. So perpetually overworked, how do we deal with that, right? What we did is we basically went through and sort of figured out the things that aren't value adding activities, right? So the things that need to be done, but don't necessarily, drive revenue or, really make a difference in how things are handled. So we then looked at those. Are there ways to automate those? In most cases, the answer is yes, that we're able to automate those. So these are the sort of highlight things that we've found that we're able to have the biggest impact and sort of get people back the time they need to focus on the more important stuff. So the first thing is invoice capture. Everybody knows what it is. There's a piece of paper. You got to type it in. A lot of times now it's a PDF that you have to type into a system, but we can automate capture, and I'll show you sort of our options around that shortly. The other thing is figuring out how to route things where they need to go. That's something that can be done by a computer, can be done in an automated way, and then that's one less thing that you have to then worry about while you're making, while you're dealing with your AP. Route them automatically. The other thing that we can help out with is outsourcing checks. That's something that's sort of a no-brainer. It doesn't make sense, especially in a COVID world, to have a check printer and actually, sit there, print stuff, mail. Let us take care of it. We'll make it a part of a normal system. We also have some advantages there that I'll talk about. But let's just get, the hard stuff, the time-consuming stuff out of the way. And then, of course, driving your vendors to a non-check-based process is also a great way to reduce your overhead. Everything that you send out via ACH is one less thing you're going to have anybody print and mail and follow up with. So I'll hop into essec and show you a bit about the invoice capture and the automated workflow side of things now. Okay, great. So popped into essec. I'll show you two things that demo well for you. The first is the invoice capture. Like I said, we're trying to get you out of the business of sitting there and keying in invoices all day. So to do that, once you've got an account set up with us, not only we have some visibility, but we'll also have what we call invoice inbox. And these are going to be specific emails that you can forward on your invoices to, and then we're going to capture those automatically. So anything sent to this ocr@fidessec.com email address is going to be captured automatically. So your company would have its own unique login, would have its own unique email address here. And anything that you send there, you don't have to worry about it. It's going to get captured automatically. Now, people hear a lot about OCR and how it's good and how it's not so good. The reason our OCR is so capable is basically twofold. Reason one that it's so capable is we sync all of your vendor, GL list data, chart of accounts, all of that's going to be synced with your accounting system. So our OCR is going to be referencing that while we're doing our capture. So it's not just blind OCR. Part two of that is we understand that most businesses have multiple locations, and we can do some dynamic GL coding based on the locations that it's sent to. So if I look at one of these invoices that we have as an example here, this is really what an invoice will look like when it's pulled out of capture and sent back to you for approval. So you'll have access to the PDF copy. This will be what was submitted to the email address. And then we're going to have everything that was captured on this invoice directly. So all that's going to be taken care of automatically. And you can also see where this lies in the approval workflow. So this is sort of part two of how we can save you time, is because we have all this data captured, we can then send it out to various approvers based on whatever rules you want to set up. So it could be based on a particular segment of the GL code, could be based on a vendor, it could be a dollar amount threshold. Whatever you need to get invoices routed, we'll set up a workflow itself. And then this workflow will determine where these invoices route automatically. So this workflow can be as simple as or as complex as you need. But the important thing is we will set this up for you, and that'll all take place automatically. So the next thing that everybody has problems with in the accounting department is really just keeping track of everything. So the ways that we try to help out with that is from the moment we get that invoice data captured, you're going to have complete visibility. We'll also have some reports that'll give you some insight into some bottlenecks and slowdowns. You'll be able to keep track of where your money's going, and you'll be able to access this data from anytime, anywhere. So you don't need to be in your ERP system to do so. So if I hop back to Fidesic from our dashboard right here, we'll get some quick data on sort of how we're spending is month to month, GL code to GL code. And then the other important thing that we're going to show is where things are in the approval process. So you'll be able to see what user, how many approvers they have, and how long it's been sitting in their approval queue. And we have lots of different ways to slice that data. My favorite way to do it is to just go to the users page and then filter for pending approval. And then you can see exactly what is in each individual user's queue. And if I click on this right here, I'll be taken to exactly what is pending this individual approver's queue. So you'll always be able to see exactly where invoices are. And when you click on an invoice or payment detail, you'll get taken to that direct page that we saw before, and it's going to have the approval workflow that was associated with it. So you'll be able to see any notes, any approvals, any reroutes, all that's going to be available at your fingertips. Makes it easy to keep track of what's going on. We've also got lots of reports built into this that will give you quick access to data. So you can run an aging, you can run an accrual, you can see, agent invoice count, you can see what's pending in each individual user's queue, and these will just generate a quick spreadsheet to give you data that you need. And you'll also have a full history on this invoices received page that you can search and sort to find any invoice in any status. So we can see some have been sent to GP, some have a payment pending, some have already been paid. And this will also show them in unapproved status as well. So top to bottom, you'll have full visibility into your invoice process. So the next thing people always talk about in accounting is, they just keep adding more companies, they keep adding more locations, and we're supposed to do the same amount of work, or we're supposed to do more work with the same amount of people. Well, we can help you do that. And we've really built this in a way to help those companies that are scalable by making it easy to manage and add users when you need to do so. But with the capture and auto routing of everything, more invoices don't necessarily mean there's going to be more work for you in the AP department. It'll just be more volume. And you can have multiple accounts set up on your single login, so you can manage all your different entities. If there are specific different entities, you can manage all those directly. So I talked about the manage users, and I did go to this page quickly, but you'll be able to see all of the users that you need from this page. You can add users. You can manage your users, you can upload signatures, you can check out what's in their approval queue. And the really cool thing that you can do from this page is use our reassign approvals tool. So sort of the most common situation when you have a new user is you want to replace somebody else or you want to use somebody else's settings that already exist. This tool makes it really easy to move invoices or payments from one user to another. And you can just do this for currently pending things or anything in the future, as well as setting this up as a vacation type rule. So it'll start one day, and then once this time has expired, it'll go back to the way it was. So it makes it really easy to just like replace user one for one, as opposed to having to go into the workflow engine itself and make modifications to it. All you're going to have to do is come here, pick a user, say who to mimic, and then quickly replace them. So when you have new people coming on board all the time, this is a great tool to help you manage that process and just keep it simple in that way. So the next big thing that people are always talking about and always afraid of is audit. And basically, we try to add things to make as much protection in an audit as we possibly can for you to make that process simple. So first off, if people come at looking for approvals, we have a full approval log logged on every single invoice. So there's no, lack of clarity there. You'll be able to see who approved it, when it was approved. That'll all be logged within our system and easily accessible. The other cool thing that we do is on the payment side. I've talked about ACH payments. We do help facilitate ACH payments, but the really cool thing that we do with those ACH payments is we have a formalized approval on that ACH payment that is akin to a signature on a check. So, a lot of people, when they move from paper checks to ACH, sort of lose the handle on the controls there. It becomes a lot less formalized. It becomes a lot harder to prove in an audit that a payment approver actually approved those payments. We try to make that as simple as possible. You approve it in our system, that log will match. And most importantly, for those paper checks that still remain, the person who approves it in our system, that's going to be the signature that actually goes on those checks. So we maintain this digital record of all approvals on payments and invoices, and we are able to make this available to auditors. So we do have read-only access that we can give, and an auditor can just log in and review and check that out directly. So those are sort of the big things that, I was hoping to get through here today. If you have any questions, since there are several people here, feel free to email us or just head to our site and hop on the live chat. We'll help you out. But anything sales@fightessec.com, just send us an email and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of the session.